Well, we're flying casual again today. I'm James Rosile, joined with Andrew
Andrew
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Yes, Andrew, where are you? You are far. We're far away from each other. We're in other continents of the world.
That's right. I'm actually in Crake Station, which is an outpost in Antarctica. I can't tell you why I'm here. I lied. I can tell you why I'm here. I'm getting ice.
I feel like you're lying about everything you just said.
Hmm.
But we're flying casual today. For those of you wondering, Unleashed will come back because Andrew's going to have a lot of free time coming up, and I'm going to make sure he spends that with me. So we'll be doing Unleashed where we're going to sit down in the same room and have planned out conversations. But this is a conversation that we were kind of, it's a spur of the moment, and that's why it's flying casual, and that's why we're over headset because we just wanted to talk. I got fluff on my. We just wanted to talk about a DJ and the role of DJ because the pictures came out in Vanity Fair. We heard Benicio Del Toro was the Man in Black. Then the pictures came out and it said he is the Man in Black. And so we were like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or his name was DJ, I should say. His name was DJ. So we are like, okay, that's cool that this information came. But then it's kind of softened over the last almost month it's been since those pictures came out. We haven't heard too much about DJ. It's almost like when we went to Celebration, Benicio del Toro wasn't even mentioned when we were there. So, what are your initial thoughts on DJ and the picture itself? Let's start off with that.
The picture was odd. I was not expecting that pose from him. That Rose in the Titanic kind of pose that he had going on. And by the way, viewers, forgive me. This is my first time ever using Skype, so if I'm doing it wrong, that's why. Um,
And
but
you
yeah,
probably are because, in fairness to you, you do a lot of things wrong.
yes, exactly. So it's just natural. Just deal with it. So
I mean,
yeah, I
people
wasn't
think that I
expecting the
actually
pose.
hate you or something.
And I could be wrong, but was he? I don't think he was wearing black in the picture. I think he was wearing dark brown,
It's like a
wasn't he?
dark brown, yeah. Which we'll get into. I Once you finish your thought here, I have something to add to that.
Right. So his whole persona leading up to those photos was just so I can't even call it mysterious because there was so little to go on except his title, the Man in Black, and it's like, well, I know he's not the bad guy from Lost, and he's not Ed Harris on Westworld, so who is he? Um, but the pictures just kind of they raised more questions and answered nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking at the picture here right now. There's been wondering why I was moving around. What I want to talk to you about is people have brought to my attention because it does not look like he's wearing black, but that could just be lighting. That could be just the way the picture is. It's the lighting. It looks a little softer in color than it actually is. But some people have speculated that perhaps he's called the Man in Black because he wears a black kyber crystal ring, much like we've heard Snoke will be wearing one. And other people have pointed out that Leia seems to be wearing a ring as well, but we will hold off on Leia for now. Let's delve
Oh my
into
God, it's the Green Lantern Corps
the
all
Green
over
Lantern
again.
Corps. But do you think that could be why? And what do you know anything about this black kyber crystal?
Just the initial theories that we heard it first from Josh, I think, who told us about Snoke wearing it. But
At
I didn't
Celebration, yeah.
know. I didn't hear any connection between a Black Kyber and Benicio until now.
Hmm.
So that's news.
Yeah, I mean, but do you know what a black kyber crystal is all about? Are you familiar with the black kyber?
If I'm assuming it's what's in the dark saber that Pre Vizsla had. If not, then I'm in the dark.
Yeah,
Get it?
it's definitely got to be of Mandalorian descent. And
Mm-hmm.
have you been reading up on any of the comics? Have you read the Screaming Citadel?
No, I'm way too cheap for the actual issues because they take like 4 minutes to read and cost twice as many dollars. So I just wait for the trades. In July, there's like 5 trades coming out at once, so I'm holding out for that.
Is that
But
one of them?
Screaming Citadel sounds cool. I don't know. I don't think so because it's new, right? Screaming Citadel is fairly new.
Yeah, it's too new. I think I haven't read it either because I've been getting the Darth Vader and the Darth Maul comics. Both of them,
Hmm.
Darth Vader's only had, as of recording this, it's only had the one issue. The next one comes out on the 21st of June. Same Darth Maul's only had three, and the next one also comes out on the 21st of June. And I've I definitely recommend waiting for the trade. They're enjoyable reads. They're just like I told Brock on one of the issues of the podcast or one of the episodes of the podcast. I said I loved Obi-Wan and Anakin, but I got that as a trade. I waited for the trade for that one, and I loved it. I was like, "This is fantastic." But now these ones I'm reading month by month, and it's more frustrating than enjoyable reading
It's a
these books.
slog, isn't it?
Well,
It's
they're like 3 pages. The artwork's fantastic. The
yeah,
story where they're going, you can tell is they know what they're doing. They're in a good place. But it's like there's no story in each book. It's like here's a setup for a setup for a setup for a setup, payoff, you know. And so I'm waiting for the payoff, and I haven't got it. But I think if you get it in the trade, it's much more enjoyable because you get it all up front. But
yeah, exactly. It's like imagine buying like a bag of Skittles and then you only eat one Skittle every week.
I,
Like it's like just give me the bag of Skittles, you know.
I haven't had Skittles in a while, so.
You're missing out. Oh, speaking of Star Wars comics, quick side Akbar. One of the things I got for my birthday, you guys are gonna like this. Check this out. Ooh, it's Star Wars Infinities. It's the Legends comics that are like the what if stories. So like, what if Vader lived and became a part of the Rebel Alliance? What if Luke died on Hoth? All that kind of crazy shit.
Wait a minute,
This
wait a
this
minute,
is
wait a
all
minute.
this.
What if Vader lived and joined the Rebel Alliance?
Yeah, like
Have
at the
ha,
end of Jedi, he didn't die,
have
and
you
he went and helped the rebels.
have you read that yet?
No, I just know that's one of the. I haven't even opened this yet. I just know that I remember hearing that was one
Because
of the
I
stories.
want you to come on one of our books and comics segments and talk about that to no end. Because
Deal.
I want to hear more about that. I feel like I need to hear more about that. Like, that sounds it sounds awesome, but it also sounds like super fan fiction.
Oh, absolutely.
Like completely fan fiction. Let's get back to DJ, shall we?
Yes,
First initial thoughts, is he a villain?
I want him to be. I want him to be. He's. Can I? Do you want me to go into what I think DJ means, or do you want me to
Yeah,
save
you
that?
know what? Go completely hog wild on this one. The floor is
Okay, here
yours,
I go.
sir.
I'm taking the shirt is coming off.
No,
The
nobody needs to see that.
5 subscribers. Just the D I think stands for not dark, but Darth. I think we're getting some Siths up in here, and I think they've been hiding and they've been biding their time. Um, yeah, maybe the J stands for John or whatever his name's going to be, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see the birth of Darth J something or other when Benicio reveals his true colors.
So how long have you thought that he would be a Sith Lord, and did the initials DJ kind of confirm that to you?
Yeah, I'd always hoped that he would be a Sith. Like I remember mentioning once, I was like, I want Sith to get thrown into the mix so we can have like 3 factions going at it instead of just two. Just kind of add more fuel to the fire, change it up, make it, just raise the stakes from the other 2 trilogies. And once I saw the initials DJ, that just like reaffirmed all my hopes and dreams, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be a Darth.
It's going to be
And I don't,
real.
I know. And then I started trying to think of evil sounding names that start with J, and I I couldn't think of anything unless he's just like Darth Justin. I don't know.
Well, it could be a. I mean, Vader is what's Vader? Dutch for father?
German.
German? That's
Yeah.
it's all foreign to me. So it's something. No, so is Darth? Darth means dark. Anyway, Brock talks about this all the time. I really don't care. It could be another language, J. What other countries use J? What languages use J? There's not. I don't think it's the most popular letter in the alphabet going
It's
around.
not. I
But
know
it
in
could be.
Maltese we don't have the letter Y and we use the letter J as a substitute for the letter Y. So his name could be like Darth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Benicio Del Toro. We did a top five what DJ could mean, and I think he's Dexter Jetster. That was my number
Oh
one.
my God.
Exactly, because now when Obi-Wan comes back, he hangs out with Dexter Jetster, and really that's not what he's going to look like. He actually has 4 arms and there's a basilisk.
That's just a mocap suit that we saw.
That, that would be fantastic. I think that he's going to, I really like the idea of a secret Sith, but I don't know. We're going to talk about this next week on, I think Scavenger Scum's going to deal with this one because we had someone write into us. about the possibility of the Sith being no more, and the Knights of Ren are now the new dark side users in the galaxy. And that's, I hate to say it, but I think the way they're going with everything is we feel like the Jedi are going to end. But the difference between the Jedi and the Sith is you can't get rid of the name Jedi. You can get rid of the name Sith in the movies because they weren't in the original trilogy. They haven't really been with us for a long time. And, they weren't around for over 1,000 years, the Jedi say, before the Phantom Menace. So you can kind of get rid of the name Sith, but the name Jedi is so synonymous with Star Wars. Like, how do you just be like, there's no more Jedi. Jedi aren't a thing anymore. They're now called Duba or whatever, right? Like, how do you just do that? I don't think you can. But the Sith, I think you can because it's more the dark side is what we know it to be more. So you can say, yeah, it's dark side. They're not Sith. They're the Knights of Ren, and Ren is the new name for Sith, and they're the Knights of that or something like that. What do you think of that?
Um, I agree. Sith is a word that it was introduced into our vernacular a lot later than Jedi was, so it is a more forgivable sin to kind of cast it aside than it would be to do that to Jedi. But at the same time, I think that what new canon has really been driving home for us is just how many different types of people use slash worship the Force in different ways, be it light or dark. So the idea that the Knights of Ren embrace the dark side with one particular purpose or one particular creed, and the Sith could be a totally opposite kind of thing, but still on the dark spectrum. That makes perfect sense to me. That fits into the world that the new story group has given us. So if they were to have the Knights of Ren embrace the dark side for one reason and the Sith in another in the same movie, that wouldn't feel strange to me. I feel like that would be totally okay. And it would, like I said, it would only raise the stakes even more because now our heroes have to contend with two different bad guys. And it's like, well, do we just let them wipe each other out, or how are we going to stop all these people now?
Well, George Lucas said though that the Sith were wiped out when Palpatine and Vader both ceased to be in the end of Return of the Jedi. How do you think, if DJ is a Sith, how do you think he got trained? Where do you think he came from? Just speculate for fun. Just have fun on this one.
Mm.
Give me the backstory of DJ the Sith Lord, Darth Juana Man.
You don't want to men. Uh, I think that okay. Here's a little backstory for you. So Vader and Palpatine both had some secret goings on the side that the other didn't know about. You know, teaching people about the darkness. Look at a perfect example is Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress never became a Sith Lord, but Dooku was pretty much priming her. He's like, look, maybe if you're good enough, you can be my apprentice, and then we can, go screw shit up in the galaxy and it'll be great. But she never got around to that, obviously. I feel like the same kind of dealings could have been had with Vader and Palpatine, whether it was DJ himself or maybe somebody else. Like one of them is just like, hey, you're strong in the Force. Let me teach you about the dark side, just in case something happens. Blah blah blah. Contingencies. I might want to overthrow my master. I might want to kill my apprentice. And then, long story short, Vader and Palpatine are dead. And here's this group of people, however small or big it may be, who have been taught little snippets of Sith by them. And now they know, hey, this old order of only two, suddenly there's two openings. And there's two very big power vacuums in the world of the Force. So maybe one of these people filled that power vacuum and then met a young DJ and started training him. Maybe one of these people was a young DJ and just thought, well, I'm going to take on the mantle. I'm going to put this black hoodie on. I'm going to put some pale makeup on my face, and I'm going to paint the town red with my bleeding crystals. And now here we are 30 years later. We don't know what he wants yet, but we know that he's still in this, very much in the groove of the Sith. He's just doing what Palpatine did back in the days of the prequels and keeping it on the DL that he is a Sith until the right moment.
You think we'll find out he's a Sith in Last Jedi, or do you think that'll come about in Episode 9?
I'm torn between that because I feel like there's so much that's going to go on in The Last Jedi that we need to save some stuff for 9, so 9 is not just an empty movie with a big fight scene at the end.
I think half
So,
half of nine is going to be it. I said this a few weeks ago on Rebel Sky. I think they could be doing that Lord of the Rings finale where it ends with a giant battle at the
yeah,
end. That's although those more, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like we haven't seen that in Star Wars yet. Really, we haven't had a giant. I mean, the Clone Wars kind of sort of had it, but not. It wasn't intimate like I think this one could be, where you have the Resistance, the First Order going up against each other, and then you have Kylo, Snoke, Luke, Rey, and then whoever else on the other side, and yeah, whoever else on the other side going at it. So I got a side Akbar for a second on this, because we've heard that Rose has a sister. Rose, the Rose character, has a sister who's big in the Resistance. Do you think she could be a turncoat, maybe working for DJ?
I feel like Rose's sister is not long for this world
Oh no, she's going.
because,
She's going bye
yeah,
bye.
I feel like Rose's sister being alive is what's keeping Rose from, you know, coming out of her shell, because she's like a tech, right? She just sort of fixes stuff in the hangar. I think, is that what they established Rose's job was?
She's
She just fixes
she's
explosive
bubbly.
mechanic or yeah, she's bubbly. She's a cute mechanic.
I
Um,
love that's the way they kind of like they didn't talk about a character like at all. They're just like she's bubbly. You know, I love working with her.
yeah.
She's bubbly, and everyone's like she's so bubbly. It's like okay, but who is she? She's Rose. She's bubbly. And then she came out on stage, and you're like, yeah, she's bubbly. Uh,
Yeah.
You've distracted us with bubbles. Yeah,
That was their plan all
I
along.
know. Episode 9 is called Episode 9 Bubbles.
Bubbles. So yeah, I think she's like she's she's one of those characters who is living a life that's like she deserves more out of life. Like she's kind of living under the radar, but she's not going to come out of her shell and really become who she's meant to be until something big happens to her, which I think would be the death of her sister. Like I can just see, because her sister's a pilot, we know that. So I can just see like her sister and Poe flying around doing something, and then the First Order's like, "Hey, look at that girl in that X-wing," and then all of a sudden Rose is like, "Oh my God, my family's dead." So she has nothing to lose anymore. She runs off with Finn and Poe on some adventure, and the next thing you know, they're having bubbly good old times on Naboo with Gungans, because that was confirmed by Ryan Johnson.
Do not
So
tease me, sir.
and they meet up with a battle droid, and he becomes their best friend. So I think that Rose will be Rose's sister will be her death is just a catalyst to get Rose where she needs to be for this adventure.
You think so?
Hmm.
Okay. What about Laura Dern?
She's the Aunt Beru of Rose.
And what about Laura Dern? Is she just evil Sith Lord as well? That's what I believe Christian
I
Hardeloff said that on the Collider Jedi Council a few weeks ago. I personally I think it's a little bit. I think she's just going to be a hard ass New Republic leader of some sort, hoity-toity, who might not have the who might not. I mean, a politician, right? They're sleazy scumbags anyway. So I think that's what she's basically going to be, is just a straight politician. She'll do what she has to do to get ahead in life and in her position.
yeah, she's I could go either way with her. I like the idea of her being a Sith, and I like the idea of her just being a politician, because not everybody has to be something, you know.
Those are fighting words, man. You are going to get scolded below. I'll tell you that.
So either way, I'm going to be happy, but I think there is something cool to the idea of, you know, there's always two. There's a master and apprentice. So if in Last Jedi we find out DJ is a Darth something, and he's like, "Yo, I'm a Sith, and my master is gonna do something bad soon," and then in Episode 9 we have this moment where Laura Dern's like, "I'm the Sith Lord," and then we cut to Hayden Christensen going, "You're the Sith Lord."
What? How about this? How about if Laura Dern is the Sith Lord, if Holdo is this evil Sith Lord the whole time, and Benicio Del Toro's DJ has actually been hunting down the Sith Lord, and he's not a bad guy at all?
Oh snap! He's just like a Sith hunter.
Yeah,
That's cool. I
I'd
can dig
watch
that.
that.
Again,
Yeah,
see like different factions doing different shit. That's what I love.
they just completely
Bring it
turn
on.
it on their head. They're like, you're expecting Benicio Del Toro to do this, but really, Laura Dern's doing that, and Benicio Del Toro is Ezra Bridger reborn.
he's like the whole Man in Black thing. Then could be like he's like Lee Van Cleef in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He's just like a bounty hunter
Yeah.
of sorts who has no real allegiance, but he's just like Sith are. There's a high price out on them, so I'm gonna go after these dark side users and take them out. And
Yeah.
you can help me out, Luke, or you can stand in my way, and I'm gonna fry you with my laser whip.
Yeah, because
That's a thing now.
do you think he's gonna come in when whoever it is goes to Canto Bight? Do you think that's where we're gonna meet him, Canto Bight, similar to when we met Leo on Cloud City?
I think so, because originally, way back when you're the one who told me that there's going to be casinos in this movie, he was the one I pictured. Like I immediately associated his character with the casino, whether he's an owner or like a blackjack dealer or something. But since the pictures came out, I don't know anymore. I feel like now
He doesn't fit in with
Canto
the other
Bight,
characters in Canto Bight, right? Yeah.
yeah, Canto Bight, because of how Monte Carlo-esque it is, I feel like that's going to be more associated with Admiral Holdo, and he's going to be more whatever Dubrovnik might be. Like he's going to be a totally other
I
location.
think Dubrovnik is
Uh,
Canto Bight, isn't it?
oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes from exterior stuff that makes sense because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean interior, the Pinewood, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait. Is it December yet? That's the name of our new show. Is it
I
December yet?
know.
Seriously. But it could be all disappointing and maybe he's just a nobody. But the point you made about it, the possibility of him being a bounty hunter makes a lot of sense because Ryan Johnson said that we probably won't even hear his name mentioned in The Last Jedi. He's going to be there, but
Oh
we
my
probably
God.
will not hear his name. Yeah, and if it is mentioned, it's very briefly. Like, it's not like, hey, Bob, come on, Bob, let's go, Bob. It's basically like they'll say it maybe once in passing, or they're like, oh, that's X character, and this is his name. It's not something that I don't think it's going to be something we're too familiar with afterwards, and it might even leave us with more questions than answers after we get it.
See, the only tricky part about that, because that's a very J.J. Abramsy thing to do, with like have a character on screen for a long time and never say their name, and I like when they do that, like when Lost has done that before and stuff like that. But with Star Wars, it's going to be really tricky because you have action figures which have a name at the bottom, and B, you have all those visual dictionaries. So what do you put under Benicio? Do you just put DJ with
Man,
quotation marks
Man
on
in
his
Black,
page?
maybe Man
Man
in
in Black.
Black. Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be some. The story group's gonna have to jump through some hoops when it comes to the marketing of that character.
I'm sure they already know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've had 2 years to plan this already. They know what's up. I mean, he could be Victor for all we know. Victor on a throne. Maybe he's the guy. We don't know.
What if his name? He was born with the awkward name. His name is the Last Jedi, and that's just his name. The movie's just about him running a casino.
That's terrible. You know what is interesting about the Last Jedi, because in that scene with Snoke, and this is a total side Akbar, in that scene with Snoke, he goes, "The new Jedi will rise. A new Jedi will rise." Right? That's what he says. That's what he says.
I
Um,
think so.
yeah. I don't think he says the Jedi will rise. I think he says the new
Does he say
Jedi
New
will rise.
Jedi Order?
I
Does he use the word order in there?
I don't think he uses order. I'm gonna look it up, but he says that. Do you think that he knows that Luke knows how to properly balance the Force, perhaps, or how to rebuild the Jedi Order in a proper way that won't kind of be destroyed this time?
Hmm. See, with Snoke, I still think that everything he's said out loud has been said to Kylo Ren or Hux, and I think he's just telling them what they want to hear, not what he's really thinking and hoping. So with Snoke, I'm taking none of his dialogue at face value until I get to know him better.
Do you think we're gonna get to
Over a
know him
drink.
better?
Yeah, we better.
Oh, well, apparently he's not in the Last Jedi that much.
That's not surprising, but he's gonna be in it. So we'll find out some stuff.
It's definitely gonna be. I'm okay with it. Snoke for me is like the Emperor, where he's a bad guy. Like I'm okay. I'm fine with his backstory not really being like it's cool that we got Palpatine's backstory and we learned that he manipulated all these ways. That's really cool. But in the original trilogy, I mean I don't need to know that he was that he was a politician that kind of hid in the shadows. I mean I was fine with him just being the bad guy. So I'm kind of fine with Snoke just being the bad guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it'll be
I,
fun to read the books and all that, but I'm just saying like he's a bad guy.
Yeah, and that's fine. I would like a little more of him in the movies. Like you're right. They're saying he's not in Last Jedi that much. I would like to see at least more of him than we did in Force Awakens, like
Yeah,
more screen time. Um,
I think we will because even I mean, like the Emperor's not in A New Hope. He shows up
right, he's not.
briefly in Empire, like very briefly in Empire, and then is in Jedi quite a bit. So I think this
Even
will.
Attack of the Clones. You see Palpatine a lot in Attack of the Clones, but you only see Sidious for like 30 seconds at the very end when Dooku gets out of the ship. And he's
Yeah,
like, "The
that's
war has
right.
begun, my lord." That's it. So, because like with the case of Palpatine, especially in the prequels, we kind of knew what he was doing because we had seen the future more or less. With Snoke, I just hope we get a little more of him, just because he's still such a blank slate. Like we don't know his end game yet, so at least to show us that much more of him, just so we get an idea of what this guy's about. Obviously, we're gonna get the majority of him in 9, but give us more than we did in 7, in 8, and
I kind of like the idea that I think you and Josh said this on our Revenge of the Fifth episode, where Snoke is a complete fraud. He's pretending to be whatever it is in the unknown regions that Thrawn raised concern about, and whatever force has been trying to find Palpatine, and he's acting as that, like he's faking. It's a facade of his. He's not actually that. He's pretending to be that. And I kind of would like the idea of maybe Benicio Del Toro is onto that, and that creates that as well. Even if Del Toro's not a Sith, but he's onto that, and he's like, no, this isn't the guy you think he is. I'm the guy you think, like something like that.
yeah, he could be like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but he's right.
Yeah, finally. Well, like, the only thing with Benicio Del Toro is he hasn't been around. Do you think he could be a character that we've met in a Clone Wars or a Rebels without realizing it? You know how I feel like nothing is unless it's in the movies, it doesn't really count. I mean, and
Mhm.
look, the books obviously count and everything, and Rebels counts, but the majority. I mean, the Battlefront 2 trailer came out and nobody knew sentient Palpatine. When that shot came, people were like, "Is this Palpatine? Palpatine's alive!" And everybody went crazy. And people were like, "Well, no, that's in the books." But not that many people read the books in comparison to the films and even the video games. So I like the idea that he could be someone hidden in there that we don't know, but I like the idea even more that you kind of go with Snoke, where he's there, but he's not been mentioned. Like if you read Bloodline, he's in Bloodline, but you don't know he's in Bloodline because he's like a side character in a Senate meeting or something.
Yeah. Yeah, with him in particular, I don't think he's anybody that we've seen in Clone Wars or something, just because um, the sort of the pinnacle of like the perfect example of that is Saw Gerrera. Okay, Saw Gerrera, when they announced that the guy that Forrest Whitaker is playing is Saw Gerrera and he's from this. Like when they just said he's playing Saw Gerrera, even me, like a crazy fanatic, I was like, who's that again? And then the article went on and said he's this guy from this episode of Clone Wars. I'm like, gotcha. But that was an announcement made prior to the release of the movie. So I think that if DJ was somebody like that who we saw once somewhere, an article would come out beforehand to kind of do the same thing, to be like, hey, eagle-eyed viewers, do you remember that part in Rebels when Hera walked around a corner and some guy was like, what's up, girl? That's DJ. Otherwise, I feel like they wouldn't make that a big reveal in the movie for exactly the reason you're talking about. Because if you have this huge moment of the movie where he's like, I'm actually Pre Vizsla's brother, everybody in the audience is like, who? So,
Well, no, but the way I would do it, well, even in Rogue One, if they didn't tell you beforehand who Saw Gerrera was, and they're just like, it's Saw Gerrera, we would just accept him as a character in Rogue One. Like the animated form of him had no bearing on the theatrical version of him. Like one had nothing
right.
to do with the other. If you're a newbie, or if you're just a casual Star Wars fan, it's not like you were lost because what's Saw's backstory? You don't need to know it. He's just a rebel who's gone crazy and has wild hair and has a bow gullet. You think we'll have? Do you think this movie? I guess we've heard Luke's caretaker is gonna be something, but do you think we're gonna have a big blob character? Because since Disney's taken over, we've had two bad CG blob characters in both films. Like, what are the odds? And it's
That's
just
part
love
of the
that.
contract.
Yeah, they're like, well, everything's gotta be practical, but then Lucas was like, we need CG, and they have to be blobs. So not Luke. Luke is too smart for that. That's like seriously though. They're like everything's got to be like practical effects, except for these two weird blob creatures. Makes no sense to me. I'm not a huge Rathar fan. That scene also feels like it's from Firefly, not from Star Wars. Also,
Or
that whole
Gullet? Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's yeah, it is what it is. So DJ, final thoughts on DJ. Let's wrap this up.
I'm sticking to my guns. He is Darth Jericho, and he is up to no good. Whether or not it's what the same kind of things that Palpatine wanted, I don't know, but he is up to something, and he wants something different from both Luke and the First Order.
Okay, I'm gonna make you a bet right here on the show. We'll
Mm-hmm.
come back to this. I'm gonna say that it is not Darth, and DJ have absolutely nothing to do with his name whatsoever. And the winner has to buy the loser a medium-sized popcorn during the second or third viewing of The Last Jedi.
Deal.
All right, that's the deal. You heard it here first. DJ stands for Dexter Jester, which is a story I am sticking with. Do you think we'll ever see one of those characters again at Dexter?
The Basilisk. We've seen a couple in comics and books. On film,
Yeah.
I want to see one again. But this time he's got a weapon in each hand or something. I want to see one of those.
I want the one from I can't remember his name right now. Twilight Company, Battlefront. Such a good book, and there's one of the characters it's so good. He's such a great character. I would love to see more of that. Well, I guess we should stop flying casual and put this down to land. You've got to get to work, and I have to get to writing my novel. I have a novel on Inkshirts, which is also where you can get Gary Whitta's novel, who wrote Rogue One. He wrote the script for Rogue One. If you want to find a book, find it in the description below. Andrew also wrote a book. Find it in the description below. That's it, Andrew. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Andrew Fantasia on Twitter and the Facebook. And a little sneak peek, you're going to find me on YouTube a bit more. I'm going to start doing some crazy movie reviews soon. I don't have any up yet, but they're coming.
Wait, are they real or is it your show?
They're real. I'm gonna start like a just doing reviews, just being a critic, being a jerk.
But you also have a show coming, a YouTube show, correct?
Oh yeah, I also have a show coming. It's still in the pre-production phases. I should say production, not pre-production.
Or you're post-production, you're editing.
I'm editing, but we're still shooting.
Oh, okay,
as well.
So you're Star Wars again.
I'm doing it all, baby.
Yeah.
I'm all in Canto Bight. I'm playing the roulette tables.
Oh yeah.
The worst game I could possibly play.
And if anybody wants to not get a response from him, tweet him because he will not tweet you back.
Or will I?
Oh, you don't.
Oh, Sith.
You said tweet me and you'll tweet back, so I tweeted you and you never tweeted me back. So that's how I feel.
You tweeted me?
Yeah.
Because we had another fan who tweeted me, and I tweeted him back, and we started a very nice conversation.
I'm James Razila. You can find me at Petsafina on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and PS4 where you kick my butt out Battlefront. Until next time, guys, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.